try to get one more shot off on you. But I had to reload. Alright. Yeah, about 2:30, about what I figured. Drop you off. Technically, we could go to the other trader in the other city. And see if we get some quests from them. We have time. Need to drop all the stuff that I currently have off first so I can go over there empty. Okay. I will try that one quest.
How can I help?
Hey.
Just still getting garbage stuff. Alright, let's
Go for
try
it.
that one.
All right.
Again, like I said, I'm pretty sure they're sending me the same place again. If not, we'll do it. I didn't look to see if there's anything to sell. Good. I guess we could unload right now, because if there is anything, then I just send them drive into the other town. If it isn't our thing, then I'll do the quest. Okay. Lots of food and medical. So I should be able to make another one of the antidotes now. Oh, that was where the thing. I didn't have any antidotes. Interesting. Okay. All right. For now. Put you up there. Put you down there. Put you guys, some of you guys in the cell. Cell. Should probably eat you. Got some more memory. Okay. One duct tape. I named a lot more than that. Okay. We're about done. Put you over here. Grab the and you. And then we'll grab the rest of these boxes that we were or frames that we were making. Okay. What do we got? What do we want to fix? Yep, I think that's the only piece that was hurting. Maybe you, I suppose. Oh, I might as well fix you as well. Alright, let's see if they're wanting me to take down my own horde base. I think it is. Yep. That's twice. I don't know why they... And that's one thing I'm glad that they fixed. Maybe it's because I haven't put a land claim. I think I have a land claim or bedroll, maybe. Okay. Let's see what we have. And I probably shouldn't just be sitting here in the middle of nowhere. Okay, yep. Trader Desert 2. That is to the east. Yeah, see how much bigger these are than mine? Both of them. Alright, yeah, let's go to Desert 2. See if it's the same trader. East. Because they don't... They're independent of each other, so just because I have this trader, you know, leveled up to some... doesn't mean that the other traders are all different. Unless it's the same building style. Alright. Now we have to kind of go through half the town to get to it. Actually, no, if we were in the south, we would. The scorpion. Got 17 more minutes on the vitamins, so... quite a few blocks away. Hopefully one of these, because I know there's crack-a-books here, so maybe they'll give me the quest to go do a crack-a-book, and then I can reset it and get some more books, which would be really nice. I'm probably only going to have time enough to do a quest. Looking down, just making sure I have enough gas to get back. Forgot to bring a gas can with me. Oh yeah, Navisgain High School. I'm trying to decide if I want to try to just bypass and break into the loot at the back. Let's see what we got. So, okay, it's Jen, not the same trader, but we can see what she has to sell, and maybe I just break into that Navisgain school. Beat up all the end guys. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I haven't leveled her up at all. So this will be in my starter areas.
If you are here to buy, I've got the best selection of medicine in the wasteland.
Modern House Farm, Modern House Gas Station. They're all tier 1s, yeah. She definitely wouldn't have a crack-a-book there. Okay. They're expensive, but those are actually pretty nice. Ooh, Grandpa's Learning Elixir. Eh. Yeah, nope. Nope. Phantoms, 100. That's so expensive. Military gloves. Yeah, that's right. That was what I was hurting on the last time. I need military fiber. Which this would give me for, but I think it only gives me 1. Now,
don't let a zombie dog bite you in the ass on your way out.
That's expensive too.
And if he does, hey, we'll take care of it.
We'll check back again here at least tomorrow. Maybe some of the other ones.
How's it going?
Trades reset. Alright, nope. Nope. You have the Thunderbird.
Okay.
Yeah, nope. Alright. Where's Desert Trader 3? And he's up there. Alright. I don't want to go back to the Pine Forest for questing. I'm giving you a wide berth. Alright. We'll give this one a shot, and if it doesn't work out, then we'll just head home. Get a little bit of mining done to finish off. So I haven't turned anything really. I still have just a bunch of iron ingots. I did some iron plating, and I did some steel plating, but most of it's still in just the iron ingot form, waiting for me to figure out what it is that I need. I don't want to just turn it all into one thing and find out I need something else. But I do need to be on the lookout, because I think I need, what, 6 or 7 more for the upgrade that allows me... upgrade that allows me to make it, or is it the upgrade that allows me to upgrade something? There was a lot to it. I'll probably have to look at the last episode again once I finish tonight, so tomorrow we can pick that up again. Tomorrow's a new day, everybody resets, so yeah, we're gonna have to make a trip to all the traders, unless we get lucky and find a bunch here. But I think I already visited most of these guys on this trade day. Sat there that long hanging out with me. kind of cool. I like it. Oops. Yeah, there's that town. Yeah, I don't have any skyscrapers. I probably don't even have tier 3s in my little dinky town. It's unfortunate. That's where I started. Probably should have just drove around. I'm definitely going to do that for the winter. I'm not going to settle on the first one it sends me to. I'm going to travel around and make sure whichever one I end up on first, if I can, it depends. If I can find the one that I've already been leveling up, that makes it easier for me to get on to the higher level quests. We're almost to the trader. Again, for some reason I get the feeling that I've already checked all these when I was looking for military fiber in this trade thing, but I don't know that I did it looking for glue and stuff. No, this is not our first one. Okay, another one that I believe is at 0. But this is why we check.
Welcome.
I'm gonna buy the eggs for sure. Oh, I could have bought mandibles here. I was trying to make the serpent spear. Nope.
This is great.
What do you got for sale in here? I think I'm gonna uncheck our jailbreakers, but I will take another sugar butts. Alright. You're all giving me tier 1s. Okay. Nope. 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 Yeah, more of those.
Watch yourself,
Okay.
stranger. I know some fellers who break
None of
legs.
you gave me anything close to what I wanted. And then I would have to head all the way back down, or over to there. Yeah. Head back. Pretty sure I've missed all of these already. Looking for fixing any crack, or looting any crack of books that I found. Alright. Insert home. New. There we go. Ugh. I have a habit of doing that. Have the tab or window open, looking for something. Just miss it. What's that? Don't know. I'll barrel through the city here. Unfortunately, I prefer to go through the open desert. The streets are so... They're not made for ease of travel in any which way. They're an improvement over the original ones. But still. When you're trying to just take a straight route, it makes you go all over the place sometimes. To get further ahead, you have to go backwards. Silly. Yeah, like this. See if I can at least get to a road somewhat. Oh, that's right. I forgot I was going to try to raid the loot in that Navis game. Oh well. 17:45. So when we get back, we can probably just head over and do a little mining. I have a feeling we're going to get screamers again. That's just been the way it is, or at least it seems. scorpion running up on you doing that. 7 minutes left on my vitamins, so I'll probably take one more to get us through tonight. Alright, hold up. Alright. I have to do some eye drops after this. Hopefully I can find a nice city that has that for its trader. Just pick up where it left off. Alright. Oh yeah, I want to take the van. It has more room for storage. I don't think we had much of anything, so let's just hurry up and get out there so we can get back here before it's time. I'll definitely be looking forward to going out and trying to find some more of the some more of the military fiber tomorrow. That would be hopefully we can. Again, right now that's a huge gate for a lot of our things, including, I guess, the biggest thing is the forge upgrade, which is what we need to be able to make titanium. And we didn't bring the repair bench, so we'll only be able to go as long as our pick holds out. So we have we know what our timeline is. Oh yeah, we gotta switch. What I might do is go out looking for some trees, because I also need more of the sap. Going through a lot of that, making the glue and duct tape that we needed for those upgrades. Which I'm glad we did. Definitely getting some better weapons. And I don't know how much better snipers there are than the one I got. Imagine there are, but they're later game. Oh, I can fix that messed up pillar over there too. That's cool. Yeah, then it will line up like it's supposed to. Wondering if I'll get a screamer prior to running out of durability. Kind of figuring I am. Did I put that fancy thing in this one? I did not. Oh, I don't even have room for it. So we'll go over here. And I'll put you where you're supposed to go. There we go. Now get rid of this. All right. Okay, we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So that is our pillar row. Take this all the way back. Popping into the iron again, which is good. Hoping we can get a decent amount. If we get another 1,000. Ooh, lead. Wasn't tracking that, but that's cool. More bullet tips. But it's also not iron. And it's heavy too. Go figure, right? Almost like it's supposed to. Cut the edge off of the back of this one. Don't know. But it'll be easy enough if I didn't. Once I get to where there's no more, I just go up 2 blocks, turn around, and come back. Okay, they did. Alright. It's much easier when I've got this, because now I can just go like that. That. And you're already there. Cool. Whoa. There we go. There's our first pillar. And there's our second pillar. And then we could keep going. See, we do have lead. Not sure now if I want to. I'm curious to see what all did we get this way. So, yeah, we definitely saw the lead there. Yeah, I probably should chase it back. I mean, lead isn't bad. Maybe I'll run into some coal. That would be amazing if we did. Okay, might as well here. Alright, there we go. There's our first screamer. Here, I heard her for a moment, so I don't know, she might have been a distance away. Yep, no chances being taken. Alright, should be good for a little bit. Now we get into the lead. Again, like I said, it's not too bad getting lead. I do need some lead. But I am overweight. Like I said, the lead does get fairly heavy. Oh, almost 300 iron already. That's not bad. Lead also looks interesting. I know in a lot of mods they use the lead texture for titanium. I don't remember if this one did or not. But we'll have to see when we get there. So it's these 3 plus the one we're here and then the one inside. So once I get this done, I'm gonna go over to the side and I'm gonna run straight down this back wall. And that will expose our next pillar. Interesting. Turn here so it kind of cut inside a little bit. Alright. Looks like this is where we have to go here, so it's cut off, which is good. We're just going to cut through here. And then to our right will be the next pillar. Same thing, we'll get to here, hang a right, go 2 blocks in, come back, and then that'll set us up for that next row. But it looks like we may be nearing our end here. Cool. Do this, go back, but I think we might be at the end of it. So again, we're just getting stone, which I do need for concrete. So it isn't bad, because I need it for the forge, or the furnace when we're making the cement, concrete, whichever way they call it. But we also need it in the cement mixer as well. So you have to double the amount of stone powder you have. This is a short-lived one. Could be. But we'll be able to see where it goes over there. It's just... yeah, we didn't go too far. That's kind of what I thought. Glad I started looking at this point. Alright. We'll get rid of this first. Yeah, it's just a little sliver now. And then we'll just really start digging down. That's the best way to... that's the easiest way to do this once you get everything else mapped out. How much lead have we gotten so far? That'll be interesting to see as well. I'm pretty sure the only thing lead's good for is weapons. Or weapons, ammunition. Find stuff that is made with lead, but we can't make it. At least I don't think so. I don't think we can make batteries. Meh. It's kind of weirded out at the beginning. Seeing... lost my train of thought there. Oh. I didn't go any further. Alright, we'll round it off. Alright. So looks like the only one we have to actually deal with is this one. And it's already on the edge. Okay, that makes it easy. I don't think there's much further going at all. I think it's pretty much dying right here. Although I have been fooled before, thinking it was done, but a little bit on the wall, and then you start following it, and it just keeps expanding as you go through. Turns into a giant one. Okay. Think that's it. We are at the point when we can just start digging down now. We're pretty square for the most part. Alright, let's just start right here. Try to get as much iron as we can, but this will also take us by our... actually, I think we need to skip this and go straight to our chest, because I'm already almost 30 pounds overweight. Jeez. It adds up so fast. Alright. We're at 2050, so we're almost into... it's almost nighttime. We're about half durability on our pick. Like I said, I think after this, I would like to go chopping trees down. Alright, 378 iron. And we'll see on this first level how much the ore dries up. That always tends to narrow down as you're going. Start cutting corners more. So I'm going to cut this one straight across, and then we'll come back and we'll get all the stuff on the backside. But that means from here on out, it'll be a straight shot. Making it a bunch easier. Almost there. You can see it is going that way a little bit more. Nope. You ever wonder where the term crocodile tears came from? I don't know why that just popped into my head. I think I've been watching too many things lately on the tubes and movies. need to do too much more over here. I think it's... Well, let's see. Is it dying? Yeah, it doesn't go any further under here so far. Oh, hey, what's up, Chico? It's early, bud. It's not time for your loves. Are you trying to get outside again? Gonna go play in the dark with the coyotes? We're good here. Oh, are you using the scratching post? Okay, bud. Yeah, I know, I hear you. Sounds so pathetic. Alright, 51, got a skill point. That's going straight into Lucky Looter. Alright. I am going to try to get that thing maxed out. Hopefully we can start getting some much better loot. Especially when we get to the winter biome, because it'll have a much bigger effect on the loot we're getting. There we go, yep. And this time we do a lot more straightening out as we go through than we typically, and I typically do at the beginning part when I'm just trying to see where everything goes. Now is when I try to make it easier to follow the path. Fewer turns. I think this is just under our ramp up. Interesting. Yeah, I wish I didn't have this big thing in the middle, but it's usually kind of what happens. But in a way, it makes it easier to find the exit when you're in a rush, because everywhere else is just a single single pillar, as opposed to this, which is like a huge wide and long. Okay, I'm gonna skip around the box for now. I don't want it falling. Make me cry. Yeah, definitely would make me cry if that thing dropped. See how it's sliding under there? Yep, we are hitting west. But again, we're making a straight line. And the next time we come around going down, this will all be ore to hit. And this way. Yes. We'll have to see if we need to widen this out as well, too. Alright. We definitely need to cut this way. This is a lot of... Alright, I think that's all underneath now. Sometimes when I'm going and it goes down, you'll just end up ever expanding out, adding new pillars, which is a little bit more difficult after everything's kind of grown. So that's when you really need to make those paper scaffolds and use those. All right. I think we go one more and then we'll start cutting it over. That should catch all of the nodes here. Yeah, it really dried up over here. I don't see much of anything on my left now. Even below, yeah, this is definitely working its way that way. So it was easy for a little while and people just went crazy over it. Keep nodding off. I have all these VA appointments and I keep staying up late, falling down a YouTube rabbit hole, and next thing you know I'm going to bed with like 4.5, 5 hours, so I have to be up for a tele appointment. Yesterday was no exception. So now I'm paying the price. I don't think I'm gonna stay up as late as I normally do. I need to record something for. No, I think I had one for tomorrow. I just need to do the editing for this tonight for tomorrow, so I can record my YouTube episode tomorrow. Yeah. And then apparently I've got to take the X and head down to the Pass an ID because she retired before I did. So you get better insurance and stuff like when you're active duty. So we switched the our kids over to mine. But now that I'm also retired, I didn't go with like any family plans or anything. So now they're basically not covered. So we got to go down and switch them. But the thing that kind of ironically brought it up is my stepson, so who's not on my thing, broke his wrist today. Like clean break, like on his, I guess he found his forearm. Like he said, he was running backwards trying to catch and he fell. Got to see some of the X-rays, and yeah, it's just see right there. It's a clean full break on one of the bones, and the other one looks like it has kind of a chip. We're still waiting to find out. Oh man, I'm full. Yeah, we're still waiting to find out if he needs surgery or not. Actually, I should probably always have this thing turned off while I'm recording. But so far, no updates. Yeah. Crazy thing. I think I was a little younger than him when I broke my wrists. Both of them. Yeah. It was a, call it a school outing. And we went to a park in, was it Menominee, Wisconsin? I'm trying to remember where, but it was somewhere in Wisconsin. And they had these really, really tall slides, which are cool and all. And we were playing tag, and I was running away from someone, so I ended up running up this, you know, the steps of this big old slide to try to get away. And I got to the top, and I was unable to stop, so I went head first off, full swan dive off the top of this slide. And of course, I put out both my, I put my wrists out to brace myself, and I snapped them clean. Like, people around were freaking out, like holding out my wrist, like you could see like it dropped, like it was like completely. All I remember is they got me to the hospital and they put something on my face, told me to count backwards, and I woke up, went to itch my nose, and banged myself with a cast. They put me out to put my cast on. And I do remember them telling my mom at the time, my mom and dad, but telling them that the break that I have, that I'd gotten under normal conditions would have been a full arm up to the shoulder cast that would completely keep me in thing. But because I broke both of them, it'd be like this, and so they couldn't do it. So I just got to getting like regular casts and stuff. One of them seemed to have healed faster than the other one. So I remember at a certain point, they took the one cast off, and then my right arm, they put it in a fiberglass cast. And they told my parents that it was okay to get it wet, as long as you like dried it immediately, like blow dryer down it. I forget exactly all the stuff. Yeah, this was when I was like 13. And so I can get it wet. Okay, I went swimming. Didn't tell my parents, and next thing you know, it's like 2 or 3 days later, and this just stench is coming out of this cast. So basically, because it is kind of stuck in there, like it started to, I don't say rot, but it was like a terrible smell, and so they had to go in. They took it off, and my arm looked like it was just. So the funny part to, being one of those things where, you look at your relationship with your family and you're like, how the hell do my sisters still like me and love me as much as I do? Because when I had the cast, I would run around chasing them, acting like it was a club. And when I got the cast taken off and it was, it was all nasty, like I ran around chasing them, trying to touch them with my messed up arm. I don't know. I think back in the day when you're the oldest and you're bigger, it's like all they have to do is, oh, he did this, and my parents would just be like, oh, okay, and then I would get punished. So I think after a while, I just got tired of getting in trouble for things that I hadn't done, because they would instigate. Like, they knew how to do it. Like, they knew the buttons to push. You know how it is with siblings. You know, it's just you know which buttons to push. And so they would push them to get me upset, and then they would turn around and go to mom and dad, and I would be the one getting in trouble. So at one point, I just said, if I'm going to get in trouble, I might as well earn it. So, you know, I started to do the things that they had accused me of, because I was going to get in trouble anyway, so I might as well get something out of it. And yeah, no, sure enough, though, I guess years later, all's forgiven, all's forgotten, you know. Yeah, lost both my parents, you know. I think that was that time for us to kind of come together. Now that me and again, I was the oldest, but the oldest of my 3 younger siblings, sisters. You know, it came a point now where we just realized, you know, that we are now I would say, like, the patriarch and matriarch of the family. You know, my grandma, before she passed, was just, you know, in my dad's side of the family, she ruled. You know, there was no one contested it, which is why it was funny when my ex-wife was shopping. They went shopping, and she was going to buy some stuff, and my Grammy is what we called her, but she was just like, no, I got it. And, you know, just, it was one of those things where nobody says no to Grammy, and she's just like, no, I got it. She pulled it away, moved it, and paid for it herself. And I remember my mom just kind of looking in awe, because even she was never able to stand up to my grandma. Fun times, you know, looking back at those memories. But yeah, so like, she was like that matriarch of our family, and, you know, of our immediate family, because almost all of my family stayed in the Minnesota, Wisconsin area. All my cousins and everything, both sides of the family. I am from Wisconsin. Some of my relatives did move to Minnesota at some point, but I think my dad he had this wanderlust kind of thing. Like, I don't think he was ever happy in just one place. Oh, it finally broke. Yeah, I don't think he was ever happy in just one place. So it's like, even when we didn't move in cities, it just seemed like we were always moving. And it's crazy, but I can say that I have lived at least at some point in a house in 20% of all 50 of our U.S. states. Remember those times that I've kind of like named them off, and it's crazy how many places I are, because it started with my dad and all the places we moved as kids. But then when I joined the Navy, you know, I ended up in some cool places on top of that. So it was just kind of, it's cool that I got to see a lot of the world, but then it's also cool, you know, that I got to live in some interesting places. I think one of my favorites was for about 6 months while my ship was finished being built. That's what they call a pre-com or pre-commission. So you get there before the ship is, you know, completed, while they're finishing a lot of the stuff that they have to do. And so I got to stay in New Orleans for a while, and that was, I would say, one of the highlights of my time, just as a cool place, you know, getting to go downtown, you know, all the Mardi Gras stuff going around and things. It was a lot of fun. And then San Diego, of course, living in San Diego for almost 18 of my 22 years. Chicago when I was in boot camp. Virginia when I was going through my schools and stuff. You know, that was just like I said, just in the Navy with my parents. We lived in Ohio for a while when I was real young, and then at some point they moved from Ohio back to Wisconsin. And then my parents decided, well, actually it wasn't my parents, it was my dad. They were, you know, there was a guy that he worked with in Wisconsin on construction when I was really young. And when they were building the Alaska pipeline, he went up to Alaska to help build that. So they ended up, you know, relocating up to Alaska, which is kind of cool. And at that point, we had moved to the family farm. So where my dad had grown up and stuff, he was trying to make a go of it as a farmer. Cows, crops, everything, the works. We had it all, you know, we were trying to make a go of it. And I know for a fact now that he was struggling. They were probably losing more money than they were making. It was hard to compete against like a lot of the bigger farmers. And so this family friend had come back down to Wisconsin over the holidays to just visit with some people. I think they were getting some of their stuff, and they stopped, by our house to, talk to my dad and everything. And at some point during that conversation, I guess it turned to employment. And he ended up offering my dad a job because he was a contractor and he owned his own contracting business up in Alaska. So around New Year's, when they were driving back up, my dad rode up with them, and he went up to Alaska ahead of us. Like I said, he went up in like that December, January time, and then we went and followed him up, I think, after, I think it was April or so, because it was like third semester of high school. Yeah. So, we ended up going up there, following him, so then Alaska. And then, I lived up there, graduated high school, and then eventually a buddy of mine was moving back to his home in Oregon. And when he was moving, like I said, we were best friends, did everything together, and it's just, it was kind of one of those where it was a struggle, like to separate. So I just ended up in a, looking at where he lived, or he was moving to. I think he had already moved, and found a Fred Meyer, because I had been working at Fred Meyer in both Alaska and Oregon. If you're in the Northwest, you know what that is. Just called one of them up, and I was like, hey, I'm up in Alaska. This is what I do. I'm thinking of moving down to Oregon, and if I did, what kind of employment or options or might you have? And the one that I called is like, hey, I need a manager for this department in our in our store. He's like, can you be here next week? And I just like, yep. And just out of the blue, got in the car. A buddy of mine was heading down south somewhere. I don't forget where but he we rode down and we drove the Alcan like 3.5 days. Got down there, and now I'm living in Oregon. And then I did the last, I guess, 4 years of my Navy career up here in Washington. And that's kind of where we kind of sit. So again, it's crazy, all the different places that I ended up living for a little bit of time here and there. But yeah, it's kind of funny how that works sometimes. All right, let's see. What did I need to upgrade you? I'm pretty remember. I needed 18 military fiber. Now, to make military fiber, I needed the chemistry station, and over here, I needed okay, that's right. I need titanium plates. Apparently a couple beakers. But I can't get titanium plates until I can come over here and I can smelt down titanium. Then, over here, Tier 3 Blacksmith's Forge. And I have a Tier 2. So I also have to upgrade you, which requires 20 titanium ingots, 50 steel, and 100. So I could do this one minus the titanium. So everything, all these higher upgraded workstations that I need to do, depend on this one. And to do that, I still need 8 more military fiber. And like I said, over here, I can make military fiber, but chemistry station tier 3. So, yep. So, yeah, that's like an interesting little, kind of trip down, memory lane, so to say, for me. Just, I get kind of, I don't get bored. I'm sure it gets bored, when I'm down mining. So I'm trying to find a way to, I guess, make things a little more interesting, when I'm down there doing stuff like that. Okay, and then another 485 of this. So we're doing pretty good here. Making a bit of iron. So 14, 17, 18, 21. I don't need you in there the whole time. 4. That should be for now. We'll see afterwards. Did I grab you over here? So, if you guys enjoy that kind of like storytelling or stuff like that, I probably have a lot of stories. Just, you know, I in my mind I think about it and it's like, oh, what do I have to talk about? But then it's like, sometimes I'm amazed at the life and some of the opportunities I've gotten. Just whether it be my parents and them moving over there, you know, living up in Alaska, being able to go to Kenai, you know, fishing for salmon right on the, just all those kind of things, you know, to under my military stuff. It just, I don't know. Gotten to go to some cool places. Why do I only have 282? I thought I made like 600 of them. Man, I go through it fast. Oh, I made steel. That's right, I made a bunch of steel, so that was worth like 300 of it. Okay, that makes more sense. But yeah, just let me know if that's something that you enjoy listening to. I don't know why my nose. It's itching so bad. Alright, so we're cooking that. 2, 3, 4. That's 5 things, so I only have 4 spots. So I gotta make sure I'm ready to move that. That's right, I was gonna go chop trees. How close am I? Yeah, let's just go over here. Let's go to the... out of the desert where I'm constantly paranoid of scorpions. So my bike's out front. Let's go chop a bunch of tree downs. Let's get a bunch of sap. A bunch of wood. I think that would be a good use of my time to kind of end this stream here. Because we got like 2 hours left. It's actually almost there. Man, some of these streams just fly by. I think that last part was kind of fun, just going over some of the stuff. Maybe in the next one, talk a little bit about Alaska. Man. If there was one place that I would love to kind of move back to, with one exception, it's Alaska. I love my time up there, but I will tell you right now, you are separated completely from anyone you know. Like, the distance is crazy. You know, prices up there are a little, you know, but like I said, I'll talk about that one on our next stream, you know, when I do some more boring stuff. But, you know, even what my family did and stuff up there. Some cool stuff, again, like I said, that kind of happened in my life. Okay. That didn't say sneak. Interesting. Am I not getting sneak damage for these things? That one did. Apparently he knew about me. Okay, it's my motorcycle. I thought it was like a bike for a sec there. Yeah. I have a lot of stories. I have some stories that I can't tell. They are not safe for Twitch, YouTube, or decent company. And maybe at some time too I can talk about some of my countries that I've been to, what I did while we were there. I think that was one of my favorite parts about my time in the service. You know, we'd do these 6, 7, 8-month deployments, you know, away from home, away from family. Be out at sea for sometimes anywhere from 2 to 6 to 8 weeks, you know, without even coming to land. And then we'd get that port visit. Man, I had some pretty fun port visits. Got to see some really cool, really unique places. That'll be a fun story for a future stream. Again, if this is something that you want. I know the military in some circles isn't the most but say it, you know, not everyone feels the same we'll say about the military that others. I remember the first of my YouTube videos when I started talking about my you know, my service and everything, and that was like the first time I ever got a dislike in a video. I was like, oh. And I thought about it too, and I realized, okay, you know, the way YouTube works, you know, you get people all around the world. You know, so obviously, there's some places that don't view that in the same light as others, you know, and I get that, you know, that's one of those things, you know. It's even here, like in the U.S., you know, it really depends, you know, like seeing as the number of places I've been to and the number of places I lived in, really get to feel the difference, you know. I don't think some people understand, you know, without kind of coming and visiting how big, you know, the U.S. is, and that's not a bragging thing. It's to kind of explain, like, you know, it's so big that there's entire cultures. You know, whether you're down in New Orleans in the Bayou, and you've got that culture of the French speaking and stuff, and it kind of comes back from when, you know, they owned it. You know, you got the Northeast, you know, you got the Southeast, you've got the, you know, the Midwest, all these different, they're almost like different countries sometimes, it feels like. It's again, like I said, it's kind of hard to explain, but, you know, just because of it, it's like, you know, sometimes I think if you wanted to, you know, like look at the size of America, I think it kind of fits pretty well over Europe. You know, if you include like Alaska and everything, and then think about it, you know, a lot of these states are, you know, bigger than some of the countries over there, so you can really kind of get the feel for the distance and how even the dialect, like you can tell where someone is. There's a complete different accent that people have if they're from the South. You know, they call it that Southern twang. And you got the ones that live up in the Northeast, like New York, Boston, and places like that. They've got a complete different accent as well. Remember thinking when I was from the Midwest, you know, which is Wisconsin, Minnesota, Michigan, kind of those areas, you know, a lot of those, I didn't think we had an accent. But after being gone for a while, looking back on it, it's almost like a Canadian accent sometimes. Just, you know, if you ever watch that 70s show, you kind of get a feel for that. And then, of course, you know, California, and it's just funny, you know, how different parts of this country are. So it's a long-winded way of me kind of get into, you know, where I understand that the difference that people look at things, you know. So I'm not trying to offend anybody. I'm not trying to, you know, if it's not something that people like, and, you know, don't be afraid to, you know, to leave a comment and everything. I understand. And if it's not something, but if it's something, you know, people want to hear about, you know, like I said, I got a ton of stories, you know, and I can tell stories about places I've been without, you know, inferring much of the military, you know, just, you know, those times with me and some good friends, you know, having a couple days in Singapore, a couple days in Vietnam, you know, obviously lots of times in Pearl Harbor and Hawaii and Crouch. Nice. I think that was that cop in one shot. So, and I think it would be, at the very least, it's a lot more entertaining than, you know, me talking about how I build my pillars every time I'm in the mining. So just let me know. And again, if it's something that you want to hear, whether, like I said, it's, you know, my time in the different states that I've lived in here, some of the countries and places I've visited, you know, stuff like that. I don't really have any, like, much, like, top secret stuff. So, you know, the stuff that I did in the Navy, if that's stuff you guys want to hear, I can talk about that too. Yeah. I think that was one of the reasons why I chose to do this after I retired. Again, not making any money, but I didn't do it to make money. I wanted something that kept me to a schedule, that kind of gave me a fulfilling thing as I, you know, got better at it and, you know, more followers and things like that. You know, so I'm still looking to grow like everybody else, but it's like that community. I get excited when I think about, you know, a year or two down the line, you know, having like a group of, you know, core group of people, but others, you know, coming in, you know, being able to share experiences, share the ups and downs, and just, you know, enjoy something, doing something together. I think it would be fun at some point to get into variety streaming, you know. I love 7 Days to Die, and I will always come back to 7 Days to Die every time, you know, there's an update or changes or mod comes out. But I do like other games now. There was a time when I was young that if I played a game, that was it. That was my sole point of focus. Like I couldn't play more than one game, and I remember years of playing World of Warcraft. Wandering horde here. Yeah, remember years of playing that. You know, but it started out with Ultima Online, and then it moved into EverQuest, and eventually into World of Warcraft. Now I enjoy the different flavors. I still have the same taste in games that I play. I don't do like the big old PvP games. You know, I would play on PvP servers, but usually I just get killed. I wasn't a good PvPer. Things like Call of Duty, I just never really found myself especially drawn to them. So, but I love role-playing games, and you know, starting with Minecraft, I realized I love sandbox survival games. You know, I've played Icarus, I've played Subsistence. Yeah, I've played a lot of those games too, which, you know, they're fun. But I always come back to 7 Days. It's such a good game. So, anyways, looks like we are pretty much about done here. Curious to see how much. I mean, that's 165, and I already banked a bunch. I'm curious to see how much sap we got. But I think we're going to take this last tree. Slowly creep our way back to the motorcycle. I'm going to dump everything in there. I just want to see exactly what I got. I know I needed a lot of wood for stuff, too. So 322 sap. Nice. And 314 wood. Yep, so we'll head back home. I'll get upstairs, and that'll be it for tonight. We'll be back tomorrow. Traders reset tomorrow, which is exciting, so I'll go out and see if I can't find the missing 8 pieces of military fiber. Oh, and forgetting, I also need, actually they just opened right now. So say I also think I need acid, because to make the any more military fiber after that, I think takes acid. I think everything reset today. Let's run down there really fast. Let's see if they did trade. If they're willing to sell it, because that would be cool to start the day off with that. I'm gonna grab some more eye candy. All right, what do you guys got?
Yes. What do you want from me?
Let's see. Okay, 2 antidotes. Yep. So now we're up to 3, which is fantastic. I'm not gonna buy a pie. Okay. Titanium ingots. Okay, so one of my things needed titanium ingots. The other one needed titanium plates. I think that's enough to be able to update the forge, which would allow me to make the plates if I had the ingots. So if I wanted to buy all these, that's like 43,000. Okay, I can't. Okay, that's expensive. All right, I think we continue going the proper way.
All
if
right.
I need a couple, though, I could always come here. That's interesting. But we're gonna have to go to the other traders, it looks like, because I am not seeing any military fiber. Okay.
If you wish.
That's all I needed to know. What do you have for jobs? Cheaper house. Gosh. Yeah. No. Nothing for Crack-a-Book. Cool. Let's get into our house. Somewhere safe, and we'll go ahead and call this one for tonight. But yeah, while we head over there, I guess I'll just say, appreciate everyone that came out tonight. If you are watching this on Twitch and you have not already followed, I'd appreciate it if you would consider giving me that follow so you'll be notified when I do go live. If you are watching this on YouTube, I would very much appreciate if you are to give this video a like, and if you have not already subscribed, that you would consider doing that as well. Let's go ahead and grab the last of the stuff. Can I reach up there? Nope. Play the game. Cool. Alright, but with that being said, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.